Greetings one and all, this is Lloyd Brown and welcome social media family to my vlog. Today, the 29th of November 2018 at around 10:30 in the evening. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, 10:30. Way beyond my cocoa and slippers. But I had to make this video simply on the basis of a quest for knowledge and understanding in relation to the subject I'm going to talk about. Now I'm going to put a disclaimer before I even talk about the subject matter, which you're probably aware from the title description at the bottom of the video. But I am asking the question not out of bitterness. I'm not being sarcastic when I'm asking this question. I'm not being grudgeful when I'm asking this question. I'm not being a party pooper when I'm asking this question. And I'm certainly am not being bad mind when I ask this question. Okay? Which is going to follow after the backstory I'm going to give you. I'm in the kitchen washing up some dishes. I'm making a cup of tea and my customary ginger nut biscuits, okay? And while I'm doing that, I'm hearing on BBC News, because that's what I watch from, well, I watch that all the time. And I'm hearing the words Bob Marley, reggae music, Unesco in a bulletin. And I'm rushing, I'm busting my ass to catch the end of the bulletin, right? And it is Simon McCoy on Afternoon Live talking about Bob Marley, reggae music and Unesco. Literally just caught the end of it. Didn't know what it was about. Had no idea. So I Googled it, okay? And it gave me a whole heap of answers to the search. So I went towards the BBC News link because that's where I got the information from. So I can kind of be kept into the picture as to the tone of the piece that Simon was talking about. And it was basically talking about reggae music having cultural heritage protection by UNESCO. So I'm going to read to you what I read, okay? And I'm going to ask the question afterwards. Right, my glasses is broken, so bear with me. Right, reggae music to be protected by the UN. Reggae has been added to a list of international cultural treasures which the United Nations has deemed worthy of protecting and promoting. The music which grew out of Jamaica in the 1960s, thanks to artists like Toots and the Maytals, Peter Tosh and Bob Marley, was added to the collection due to its intangible cultural heritage. Reggae is cerebral, socio-political, sensual and spiritual, said UNESCO. It has penetrated all corners of the world, added a Jamaican spokesperson. Reggae followed on from ska and rocksteady genres. Other early pioneers included Lee Scratch Perry and Prince Buster. Millie Small's 1964 ska cover of My Boy Lollipop also helped introduce reggae's laid-back groove to the world. Reggae became popular in the United States, but particularly flourished in the UK, which had become home to many Jamaican immigrants since the end of World War II. The British reggae label Trojan, which celebrates its 50th birthday this year, introduced the world to artists like Desmond Dekker, Jimmy Cliff and Bob and Marcia. I am delighted, it's wonderful news, BBC One Extra veteran presenter Dave Rodigan told World Service Radio. I love this music since I first heard it as a teenager. Speaking to 5 Live, he added, I've always said it speaks out for the underprivileged. It speaks out against social injustice. Reggae music is the original rebels music immortalized by Bob Marley and the Wailers. Jamaica had applied for reggae's inclusion on the list this year at a meeting of the UN agency on the island of Mauritius. The protected list began in 2008 and grew out of the UN's Convention for the Safeguarding of Intangible Cultural Heritage in 2003. Its aims are to ensure respect for communities, groups and individuals involved in the listed activity, to raise awareness and encourage appreciation of those activities nationally and internationally. Reggae is uniquely Jamaican, said Olivia Grange, Jamaica's culture minister. It is a music that we have created that has penetrated all corners of the world. Announcing the decision, UNESCO, which stands for United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, said the music's contribution to international discourse on the issues of injustice, resistance, love and humanity underscores the dynamics of the element as being at once cerebral, socio-political, sensual and spiritual. It added the basic social functions of the music as a vehicle for social commentary, a cathartic practice and a means of praising God have not changed, and the music continued to act as a voice for all. Other cultural traditions which made the list included a Spanish riding school in Vienna, a Mongolian camel coaxing ritual, and Egyptian puppetry. And it basically lists hurling as a sport being recognized by UNESCO, dry stonewalling, which was given special cultural status, given to the art of dry stonewalling in European countries such as France, Greece and Italy, and Egyptian puppetry. Okay, so after reading that around 15 times, just so that it was more or less etched ad verbatim in my psyche, I decided to ask a question on social media. And the question was simply this: please forgive me for my blissful ignorance, but can somebody please tell me what reggae music needs protecting from? I really want to know the significance of this. Talk to me, please. It's fair to say that I've had some varied answers to this. And I thought, well, it's just me. Is it just me that's feeling this way? And sure enough, when I made the same post on my Twitter feed, somebody linked me and said that he asked the same question. So I decided to call this individual. But before I called him, I went back into my Google search and I noticed in the top stories and videos in my Google search of this, the first video basically listed came from Rotterdam Sunsplash, and the video is called Special Mention to Rotterdam Sunsplash. UNESCO adds reggae music, blah, 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 blah. I didn't watch that video, but I watched a shorter video, which was 1 minute and 40 seconds long. The Rotterdam Sunsplash video was 6 minutes and 1 second, okay? And judging by the thumbnails, they both came from the same source. And it wasn't until I actually saw that it clicked. It actually clicked with me. Now, this might seem like a theory, but I want you people to please bear with me while I try to answer the question with my own theory, okay? For the very fact that Rotterdam Sunsplash got even a mention in the United Nations kind of pricked my ears up. Now, UNESCO is an organization based in Paris. The question, which is kind of, I wouldn't say it's odd, but the question that I need to ask was, why was the meeting held in Mauritius? why was the meeting held between Jamaican officials and UN officials in Mauritius? It could be just one of those things. It could be just an incidental thing. And then I'm thinking, well, why now? Why is the music getting recognition 50 years after the effect? Or after the fact, rather. So I decided to link up my brethren and ask him, what does he think? And he told me that when he asked the question in social media, he was seeing people basically saying, yeah, congratulations, congratulations, enough respect, congratulations, blah, 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 blah. But he was asking the question, what are we protecting the music from? And all he was getting back was, can't you just be happy? Can't you just congratulate the fact that we've got recognition from Unesco? And he's saying, well, yeah, but what are we protecting reggae from? To the point where he's getting responses of, "Cha man, you're bad mind, you're bad mind, you're bad mind, you're bad mind." And he's asking, what do you mean I'm bad mind? I'm just asking a question. And he's a DJ. And I'm a vocalist and a producer. And I'm asking the same question. But this is my theory. I believe that reggae music is being protected from, hear this, revoked visa applications for reggae festivals. Work with me on this. And Brexit. Brexit, especially in Europe, has very far-reaching consequences. There's a company called Premier Foods that basically makes Marmite, Dove soap, Fairy liquid, and other household stuff. And they said that we are going to have to stockpile our raw ingredients if we do not get a deal in our Brexit extraction, as it were. Now, it's going to be hard for people like myself, born here with the Red Book, to go to Europe. There's going to be stringent checks because we're out of Europe, right? So if it's going to be hard for me, imagine how hard it's going to be for Caribbean people. It's going to be even worse. So what is the easiest way to protect those in the situation of reggae music festivals and ensuring their entry into Europe in order to accommodate these reggae festivals? Because why is Rotterdam Sunsplash getting a mention in UNESCO? I'm not mentioning them outside of the video. They're getting a mention. So why is that? So what I'm saying is that if it's a case where it's a political thing and you're trying to safeguard reggae music in that way, that's cool. That's cool. Because if big companies like Premier Foods is basically saying, look, we got to take care of our raw ingredients. We got to stockpile our raw ingredients so we can carry on making this stuff because of Brexit, and they're a multi-billion-pound industry, then, you know, a bunch of reggae festivals can come out and say, well, this is what we're doing to protect the reggae music. There's nothing wrong in that. But to kind of hide it behind UNESCO giving it recognition, and I'm trying to figure out, well, why all of a sudden you're giving it recognition? And furthermore, what are you protecting it from? And all now, nobody's answering the question. Even my brethren, nobody's answering the question. All they're saying is what UNESCO are doing. And they're saying that they are protecting it. They're protecting the music. They're saying, quote, that reggae music must be safeguarded. So if it must be safeguarded, it must be protected. Which leads to the question, from what? All now I don't get the answer. But slowly things are kind of popping up, and it's kind of bringing my conspiracy theories to the forefront. It might sound ridiculous, but does it sound unfeasible? Really? If that's the case, if that's the reasoning behind it, cool. I'm cool with that. But don't try to have me drink Kool-Aid and I don't know what the flavor is. You know what I'm saying? I'm too big, too old, and too ugly enough for that. All right? But that's what I think. So people, you tell me what you think. And furthermore, can you try and answer the question if my answer is totally incorrect? I can see a lot of these coming up. But that's cool. But if you can give me some dialogue to match those things, I'll be very grateful. Because I'm not bad-minding nobody. I literally want to find out the significance of all of this. And that's the best I can come up with. All right? So until I link you guys next time, people, you don't know the coup. Please, please abstain from foolishness, even your own. And until I catch you on the next exciting installment of my vlog series, people stay blessed. Magan.